Three friends alone in a mansion become targets of a deranged man in uniform who uses them whenever they're alone. Knowing that others won't believe their story, they take it upon themselves to fight their attacker, only to discover that he's something more difficult to escape from. Lisa, Stephanie, and Natalie trail a gun at Christine, Lisa's aunt, who has arrived to check in on them. Ultimately, however, Stephanie can't pull the trigger, so the ladies welcome the older woman downstairs instead. The woman informs Lisa that her mother is worried that she's not picking up her calls. Her parents won't return until 3 days from now, so her friends can stay over. As soon as the aunt leaves, the friends grab their weapon and use it to follow her car. Stephanie finally pulls the trigger, making Christine stop in her tracks as the bullet hits her tire. Not long after, however, a man stops to help the woman, and the friends complain that they can't finish their job. The phone rings, and Lisa picks it up, hearing that it's her mother. She claims that the phone was accidentally unplugged, so she couldn't answer her previous calls. When she mentions that Christine has left, the mother worries for the ladies, which Lisa scoffs at, asserting that they're not children anymore. After the call, the frustrated Lisa unplugs the phone so her mother wouldn't bother her again. That night, Stephanie finds champagne bottles from the cellar. The friends cheer and share the drinks before Natalie continues cooking. As Natalie serves dinner, however, Stephanie suddenly becomes solemn. She recalls stories of how her father, who was a soldier during the Algerian War, had attacked a woman using a champagne bottle. She overheard this story when her father was drunk and threatened her mother with the event. As the story went, her father stumbled into a village after a horrible defeat during the war. He was exhausted, with only the idea of revenge fueling him. The soldier approached a large house and searched through the kitchen. There, Stephanie's father found a bottle of champagne, but opening it had awoken a woman who was asleep in the house. The man proceeded to empty the liquor, not knowing of the woman who went downstairs to investigate the sound. Still, upon seeing her, the soldier attacked her. Her screams woke up the other ladies she was living with, but by the time they arrived, the man was gone. Christine returns to the house the following day, pissed at how the place is unkempt. She heads upstairs and wakes Lisa, scolding her for drinking the champagne she found in the dining room. She also berates her for unplugging the phone line and making her mother worry. With no choice, Lisa grabs the phone to call her mother while Christine tidies up. However, she gets confused when she finds that one of the champagne bottles has a sticky residue on the lip. After Lisa's call, Christine confronts her about the residue, and the lady claims that she was attacked by a man who used it. The older woman assumes that this is some weird fantasy, so she drops the issue and leaves. After she does, Lisa's friends approach her worriedly, having heard what she said. They also notice the residue on the bottle, making them wonder if the story Stephanie shared last night actually happened to her. Lisa doesn't confirm this, thinking that they won't believe her. She storms off and starts cleaning up, but seeing the other bottles makes her break down in tears. This convinces the women that she's telling the truth, so Stephanie thinks they should call the cops. However, Natalie and Lisa think the police won't believe them, and the story will just get them in trouble with their parents. Instead, Lisa suggests they use their rifle to protect themselves in case the man returns. Stephanie adds that they look helpless right now, so she considers changing her hair to make it look like she's a man. She also tells the others to dress in Lisa's mother's clothes to make them seem older. Soon enough, the women prepare and assume their new looks. Believing that the man might be watching them from outside, Stephanie pretends to be the man of the house, serving her lady companions with liquor. They even act like they're arguing over their affairs. Unbeknownst to them, the mysterious soldier has entered Lisa's room, seeing all the dolls that suggest she's younger than she's trying to appear. The phone then rings, so the intruder heads downstairs and watches the woman answer it. Over the phone, Lisa assures her mother that everything is all right. She also lies that the residue Christine found was from Stephanie's attempt to replace the liquor they drank with ketchup. She assures her mother that they're okay, but as soon as she hangs up the phone, the intruder confronts her. Lisa backs away and tries to hide in her room, but the man follows and attacks her. When the others find her, the man is already gone. In her panic, Lisa starts attacking her friends, so Stephanie drags her into the bathroom and cleans her up, hoping to calm her down. She leaves the panicked victim at the tub and checks in on Natalie, who's staring at the message the attacker left on Lisa's mirror. Angered, Stephanie shoots the mirror and scolds Natalie for sitting around instead of helping. With this, Natalie heads to the bathroom and comforts Lisa, while Stephanie reloads her weapon. She then searches for the intruder in Lisa's room before locking it. She checks in on the others, and Natalie asks her to call a doctor to help Lisa. Stephanie thinks it's pointless to do so since women are attacked all the time, and they don't always call a doctor. She, instead, decides that they should remain on the ground floor together so they can defend each other. With this, Stephanie gives Natalie a dress to cover up Lisa, while she secures the house. Stephanie shuts all the windows as Natalie helps Lisa into her dress. The armed woman then tells them to stay in the sitting room while she checks the cellar. While she does, however, Lisa finds that her nose is bleeding, so Natalie leaves to get a first aid kit. As she searches the bathroom, Natalie is cornered by the intruder, who holds up a razor to threaten her. The frightened woman backs into the tub, allowing the man to turn the water on to douse her. He then attacks the woman while her friends remain oblivious. Soon, Stephanie hears commotion, so she starts calling out to Natalie while Lisa screams in fear. The two women try to leave where they are, but the doors slam shut, locking them in place. Lisa manages to find another exit, so she races into the dark woods around the house. Eventually, Stephanie manages to break out of the cellar, so she rushes back inside the house to check on her friends. Meanwhile, Lisa is crying in the woods when she hears movement around. Her two friends soon come running out of the house to search for her, and thankfully, they find her. Stephanie holds her traumatized friends, promising that they're safe now. When the trio returns home, they hear the phone ringing. Stephanie answers it, and knowing that Lisa isn't in a condition to speak, she lies to her father that she's in the bathroom. Despite the dangers they're facing, Lisa decides to unplug the phone again after Stephanie hangs up. Once the women have calmed down, Stephanie asks her friends about the man who attacked them. Natalie and Lisa, however, can't describe his appearance as they were washed over with fear whenever he approached. Stephanie doesn't believe this, assuming that they just can't remember because of shock. However, Lisa castigates her for judging them, given that she hasn't been attacked yet. Stephanie asserts that she won't be attacked, even shooting her rifle at the fireplace to show that she can kill him. Lisa tells the woman that the intruder might already be in this room, so she dares her friend to face him. The armed woman insists that she'll sense him if he were, but Lisa points out that she won't even turn around to check, using this as proof that Stephanie is also scared. Now panicked, Stephanie turns around and shoots blindly until she's out of bullets. This proves to Lisa that Stephanie also wouldn't be able to think straight if faced with their attacker. Still in denial, Stephanie leaves to fetch more bullets. As she does, however, she hears the intruder nearby. Refusing to be scared by the presence, she lures the intruder into her room and disrobes as if accepting her fate. However, as the man climbs over her, she grabs a butcher knife from the table and attacks him. Her friends hear her scream, and when they find the woman, she's crying on the floor. After calming down, Stephanie decides to call Christine, believing that the woman might have sent a man to attack them as revenge for shooting at her car tires the other day. As soon as Lisa plugs the phone back in, it rings, but no one responds from the other end. They hang up the phone again, but when Lisa tries to call for help, she discovers that the phone isn't working anymore, as if someone had cut the lines from outside. The ladies end up sleeping in the sitting room until morning. They're awakened to a knock on the door, and Stephanie finds that it's Lisa's neighbor, who asks to use their phone as hers isn't working. Stephanie tells her that their phone isn't working either. Before she can shut the door, the neighbor wonders about the screams and gunshots she heard last night. Stephanie claims that they didn't hear anything and that they were sleeping soundly all night. This convinces the neighbor to brush it off and leave. Just as she does, an angry Christine arrives. She berates Lisa for worrying her mother again, so she decides that the woman should stay at her house until her parents return. In response, Stephanie knocks the woman out, convinced that the horrible things were her fault. They bring the unconscious Christine to the cellar, where they tie her up. Afterward, Stephanie orders her friends to get the champagne bottle and razor that were used against them, to show Christine that they know what she did. Lisa, however, gets a flashback of the horrible night when she grabs the bottle. In her panic, she locks the door behind her as she heads back to the cellar, leaving Natalie alone. Natalie fetches the razor from the sitting room, but the intruder is also there to corner her. She becomes frozen in fear as she recalls what happened yesterday, allowing the intruder to touch her. Moments later, Christine wakes up to Stephanie and Lisa questioning her. Natalie soon joins them and tries to attack the woman as revenge for what happened. Stephanie blocks her while Christine berates them, asserting that she doesn't know what they're talking about. Since she's still denying it, Stephanie allows Natalie to use the razor to disrobe their captive, much like what the intruder did to her. Afterward, Lisa opens the bottle to use against Christine, but before she can, the intruder appears. Stephanie shoots him while Christine screams for them to free her. Ultimately, however, the intruder remains unharmed, so he corners the women, who huddle in a corner in fear. Hours later, the neighbor returns and hears Christine screaming from the cellar. She goes to free the woman and sees the friends still huddled in the corner, completely frightened. Once she's free, Christine runs back into the house to grab the phone, which now works. She calls a doctor to tend to her niece and her friends, whom she still believes are just suffering from delusions. Unbeknownst to her, the intruder is just waiting behind her. Once she hangs up the phone, he attacks, and Christine can only scream. 4 months later, Lisa visits the psychologist she's been seeing in the city. The doctor insists that she wasn't attacked, given that her tests didn't find any signs, and, in fact, they prove that she remains untouched. Lisa argues that she didn't make up the story, and the doctor sympathizes. He assures her that he doesn't think she and her friends are crazy or liars, so Lisa reiterates how she felt everything during her attack. The doctor, however, suggests that she might have just believed these delusions, given her age. Lisa points out that her aunt was also attacked, and she's a much older woman. The doctor agrees that Christine's case is different, though he can't say how. Elsewhere, Natalie is back in her apartment, where she has now collected pictures of actors in military uniform, seemingly her way of coping with the idea of the supposed soldier who attacked them. Meanwhile, Stephanie walks around the city's red light district and senses a presence following her. At the therapist's office, the man asks how Lisa would feel if she met someone who wants to be intimate with her. The woman becomes uncomfortable with the question, but she tries to convince herself that being with a man is normal. As she tries to explain this, the doctor drops his coat next to her. Then, he appears behind her, but is now wearing the soldier's uniform. He leans close to Lisa and tells her that he wants her. Nervous, she reminds him that he's her doctor, but he argues that he's a man first. With this, he touches her, and Lisa recognizes the presence as her attacker. Scared, she merely cries. Elsewhere, Stephanie heads into an apartment building with the presence following her. However, she stops at the empty hallway and calls him out, declaring that she's not afraid. She proceeds to ring the doorbell to Natalie's apartment, and both women are aware that the attacker is there with them. They let him inside the house, even ordering him to close the door behind him. The ladies then lead their attacker to the bedroom while Lisa finally exits the doctor's office. She uses the payphone to call her mother to let her know that she's heading to Natalie's house. Not long after, the doctor, who's still wearing his coat and not a soldier's uniform, calls Lisa's father. He warns the man that his daughter's delusion is affecting her physically, as if something is really happening to her when they know there's nothing. This might put Lisa's life in danger. Meanwhile, Natalie and Stephanie watch over the intruder, with the latter now convinced that it can't harm them if they're not afraid. She theorizes that their attacker is merely an angry spirit. Hence, his attack on them didn't appear in their medical records. To prove this, Stephanie grabs a scissor and attacks the soldier, and she merely bounces off of him. She laughs that the spirit can't even fight back since she's no longer afraid, given that he only becomes strong when he feeds off their fears. Lisa soon arrives at the apartment, and Stephanie goes to open the door for her. Natalie begs her not to leave as she's still afraid, so Stephanie faces the attacker and warns him not to touch her friend before she leaves. The woman meets her friend outside, and Lisa cries into her arms. Stephanie assures her that she'll be okay. They just need to take care of their problem. She tells Lisa that their attacker is inside with Natalie, and this scares her friend. Stephanie promises that they need to confront him so that it'll be over, and with this, she leads Lisa to the bedroom. There, Stephanie insults the presence to make him complacent. Afterward, she proposes a deal. She offers to let the spirit have his way with them, but he can only have one of them per night. He can start with Stephanie tonight, then with Natalie, and finally Lisa before he rotates back to Stephanie. This way, the spirit can be appeased and the women can continue living their lives. This, however, is merely a trap, as when the spirit grabs Stephanie to begin, the trio tackles him down and stabs him repeatedly. Natalie's father hears this and checks in on the ladies, only to find that they're merely stabbing the floor. Stephanie tells the man that they're just playing around, and he calls them crazy before leaving. In their eyes, however, the soldier is still there on the floor. Since Natalie's father didn't see him, this proves Stephanie's theory that he's merely a spirit. They may not be able to permanently defeat a ghost, so they must accept the fact that they have to deal with their attacker repeatedly every time he returns. And so, the women carry the soldier out the door and dump him in the trash. They then leave him there, unaware that the creature gets back to his feet and heads to the city, where he spots another woman, likely setting his sights on a new target.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.